It's not how you start,
It's how you finish. Well, that's true in like sports where you're guaranteed an allotted amount of time. Where no matter how bad the beginning gets, you get 4 quarters, 2 halves, 9 innings, 18 holes. You get the picture. I will say from experience, sometimes all you need is 1 quarter to actually know who's going to win the game. But what about life? What about in business? Or what about right now? Just because you clicked on this video doesn't mean you're gonna watch the whole thing. But since you're here, you might as well like and subscribe to the channel as we are on a mission to create communicators who people want to listen to. From the moment we begin to communicate, we are fighting for the attention of our audience. And for the communicator, the clock is ticking to captivate your listener. I'm pretty new to YouTube, and as I try to become a better content creator, there's one piece of advice I see more than any other. Use hooks to captivate your audience. That and do better thumbnails. And if you want to become a communicator that people want to listen to, you should be using hooks as a way to engage people in every area of your life. I remember when I learned how to fish. My dad was not the outdoorsy type, so I got really excited when a buddy of mine invited me to go fishing with him and his dad over the weekend. I was so pumped. We drove like 4 hours into the mountains, and I remember we get to our campsite and his dad said, "Let's get to bed early because we have to wake up at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning." And me, as a middle schooler, I was like, 4 a.m.? And so I asked, why do we have to wake up at 4 a.m.? And I remember his dad's response, and he said, "That's when the fish are out." So I remember waking up at 4 a.m., and after about 20 minutes of walking through the mud and in the cold, my friend's dad said, "Here we are." And I remember asking, "Why here?" And my friend's dad said, "Because this is where the fish are." So he handed me my pole, handed me some bait, and I remember the smell of the bait. It smelled so terrible, and I asked him, "Why do we have to use this?" And he says, "Because this is what the fish want." If we wanted to catch something, we had to go to where the fish were, when they were, and use what they wanted. The approach was based on the fish, not the fisherman. So how do you start your presentation? In a way that engages your audience. YouTube actually provides data to show you how well you are engaging with your audience as a creator. And let me say, it's quite comical to see how quickly people will click onto one of my videos and then bounce off. In one of my videos, only 30% of people who clicked on the video originally were still watching 30 seconds later. And at first, I was a little offended. I was like, hey, I have a lot of good stuff to say. But then I just realized, I think I just need to get better. Imagine the fisherman that blames the fish for not choosing the bait that he has selected. No, the fisherman has to choose the bait that he knows the fish can't help but to bite. As a communicator, craft your messaging in a way that is so engaging that your audience can't help but engage with you. This takes knowing your audience. If you haven't yet, I actually made a video that you can check out that'll be super helpful for you to understand your target audience. And that is such a good topic for you to unpack for yourself. Who is my target audience? And actually, let me know down in the comments, who is your target audience? Who are you trying to engage with? I have young kids, and one of me and my wife's favorite things to do is to have movie nights where we watch movies that we watched when we were our kids' age. And it's interesting to see the difference between movies back then and movies today. Movies from 25 years ago started so much slower, like 5-minute opening credit scenes, just hoping that you would still be watching the movie, because back then you would be in a movie theater, not in the comfort of your own couch. You would have bought movie tickets, not able to switch to a different movie at your own leisure. Whether it's Disney movies for kids or whatever movies you like to watch, they probably don't start super slow. They want to engage you as a viewer. If you're watching this video, you have a message that needs to get out. You have a product that will make people's lives better. You don't have the luxury of slowly opening up your topic and hoping that your audience will give you the benefit of the doubt so that they'll stick around until you give your big point or you make your offer or your call to action. You need to hook them. I love watching TED Talks. I love the idea of someone getting up on stage and presenting something they're passionate about in a compelling way. And the ones that are really good and go viral are the ones that always start with something that engages you right from the beginning. What they don't do is introduce themselves. They don't go, "Hi, I'm Trevor, and today I want to talk to you about how to start your presentation." Fishermen don't need to introduce themselves to fish. Good communicators entice their audience with a well-crafted statement. A statement that elicits a little bit of curiosity, makes you ask a question, or makes you lean in for what they're going to say next. Great communicators oftentimes tell a story that engages the audience with the topic that they're going to be discussing. But here's the big deal. The best communicators are able to communicate why the topic is important to the listener. If you as the communicator haven't thought that through, your audience won't hear it from you. Remember what I said at the beginning?
From the moment we begin to communicate, we are fighting for the attention of our audience. And for the communicator, the clock is ticking to captivate your listener.
I like to think of my presentation as a bus ride. It is my job as a driver to get as many people into the seats as possible and for us to safely arrive at our destination. As a communicator, my job, whether it's in a video or a live presentation, is to connect with people. Connection is the way to get people on your bus. But you don't want to just connect with people, you want to engage them. So as I'm starting my presentation, I'm trying to cast wide nets to get as many people to engage with what I'm talking about and to connect with me as a communicator. Sorry for all the fishing illustrations, they just work really well. This again is why it is so important to know who your audience is. I have to know what connects with teenagers versus their parents, Democrats versus Republicans, Californians versus Texans, and those are all very different. I want to connect with introverts, I want to connect with extroverts, I want to connect with people who have money, I want to connect with people who live paycheck to paycheck. But if I don't know my audience, it's going to be tough for me to connect and engage with them. All these different factors weigh in on how I'm going to connect and engage with my listener. So let's summarize. From the moment we begin to communicate, we are fighting for the attention of our audience, and the clock is ticking for us to captivate our listener. So know your audience and what will hook them. Use a captivating story or a compelling statement, ask a question or use humor, but skip the intro and focus on connection and engagement. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't yet, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would like this video and subscribe to the channel, as we are on a mission to create a community of communicators who people want to listen to. And if you're looking for another video to check out, this is a great one for you. See you next time.